This is the Red All Over Show with me, Joe Beardsall, your temporary host tonight, because Josh is not feeling very well, so we're wishing him well. Hope he gets better soon. But we've managed to still got a couple of warriors, as always. We've got Alan Smith and Andy Simcox, who, despite also not feeling well, they're here. They're here, aren't you, lads? You're still here.
War
Soldiering
horses.
on.
War horses,
That's it.
that's what we are. War horses.
We're not pappy. We're not
That's
pappy
it.
like Craig and Josh and what have you.
Yeah, and yeah, Craig's not too well either. So we've got John stepping in. John, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Good to be back.
Yes. So tonight we're going to be talking about Barnsley's form. No win in 5 for the Reds in the league, unfortunately. 2 defeats in the last 2 against the big boys, Birmingham and Wrexham were also doing really well. So we're going to be discussing Barnsley's form. We're going to be asking you, what's on your Christmas list for Barnsley FC? I'm not talking about that pink kit. It's not on my Christmas list. I'm talking about who do you want Barnsley to be looking to sign as we get into January. I know the transfer window doesn't up until January, but we want to start talking about the transfer window basically. Who do you think we need to sign? Which positions do we need to strengthen in? So get your comments in and let us know. All that coming up on tonight's show, and we'll be previewing Exeter away as always. So let's get into it. Right then, gang, I'm back to do this show for a one-off, and cost me out 1 in 5. I brought this out. Hopefully it'll be a nice Santa hat, a nice red one by the time we get to Christmas. But Alan and I am not very happy at the moment with our form. I'm sure everybody agrees. I know Darryl Clark, Barnsley's gaffer, agrees. And he wasn't very happy after the Birmingham game. We've talked about that in previous shows. So let's just talk a bit more generally about form to kick off. Andy, what do you think Barnsley are lacking right now? What is it? Because I don't feel like it's necessarily performing terribly. We're just not getting results.
Well, before I start that, we're going to start a campaign to bring back Joe instead of Josh. But since you put that on, all is forgiven, Josh. This is only a one-off, Josh. I wish I hadn't invited him to host it now, but he just left it. But there you go. I'd also like to say, as we've said before, that we four, the last time we four were on it together were 4 years ago during lockdown. And that's the last time the 4 of us were on this together. 4 years ago, and we previewed Barnsley away to Sheffield Wednesday, and we won 2-0. 2-0.
2-1. 2-1, I think. Yeah, 2-1. Yeah.
2-1, yes, 2-1. Freezer scored and Corley Woodrow scored. So this is an omen for a Barnsley win this coming weekend. It's an omen.
We're just about to ask, guys, for a bonus point, comment who scored the winner in that one. But unfortunately, Andy's took that from me, so never mind.
Dominic, it was either, couldn't it? Dominic Freezer. Freezer got it, bless his
I'll just do who scored for Wednesday in case there's any Wednesday fans watching instead.
Well, one thing's for sure, them 2 won't score for us on Saturday, will they?
No, definitely not. So, yeah, Andy,
right.
Yeah, nice to obviously reminisce 4 years ago, but, I've got a few more wrinkles since then, but what's going on at Barnsley at the minute?
It was particularly good for me because it meant I could see my son. Because, we weren't allowed to visit or do all like that. So I got to see him, and I could mute him at any time. So that were even better. So, sorry, John. Yeah, I mean, we've been creating, we've not been playing too badly. I don't think too badly. I mean, we're awful against Birmingham because of the conditions. The conditions were awful and freezing, and the wind spoils football. But I thought both teams did all right. And as such as Bristol Rovers and Wrexham, we didn't do bad, but we could not score. We could not put the ball in the net. So for me, the one thing we absolutely need is a striker that can score from 3 yards, because we're having plenty of chances in 3 yards out or 4 yards out or 6 yards out, and we can't score. And it's not just one. Any number of them are sort of, we said it before, scuffing it, missing the ball completely, putting it over the bar from close range. Just so it could be that person could be Max Watters, but we don't know how long he's going to be injured for. I understand whether it's right or wrong. There's reports that he's had a setback. We don't know what's happening with Jallo. He seems to be injured, so he might be out for a bit. We don't know. Might be out for quite a while. So I think we really need somebody that can put it in, finish it off for us. Your Gary Lineker, not Gary Lineker because he's too old. He's not as old as me and Smithy, but he's still too old. But that sort of striker for me. I mean, there's other positions as well. I mean, I would personally love us to have a tricky winger, because we've only got Jallow really that can go at people in their box. Apart from Georgie Gent, he does it sometimes, but a proper winger rather than a wing back coming forward, a winger, an attacker going at him, Adam Hamill style. That's what we need, somebody that will go at him, because there's nothing worse for defenders as they're outside the box, somebody coming straight at them like an Exeter, and what do? Do they stick a leg out? Do they get a penalty away? Not that it would be awarded to us if they did. But those are the two things. I mean, there's others obviously for extra cover, left wing back and what have you. But for me, those are the two things: a winger that can go directly at them, and somebody, at least one striker that knows where the rigging is.
Yeah, we'll continue to sort of chat about obviously January transfer window, like I mentioned. We're looking head to the Christmas and January wish list for who we want Barnsley to sign. Have Barnsley been unlucky recently? Because you look at it and people keep going on about the stats, saying that we're performing well, and yeah, I'd agree. From the games we played, I can't really think of any game where we've played terribly since maybe Huddersfield away, where I didn't think we played very well at all. But I went to Wrexham. Yeah, we didn't create hardly any chances, which was frustrating. But we sort of matched them up until their goal at the end. Birmingham again, obviously a very good side, and matched them until Phillips got sent off, really, and then that changed the game. So, are we unlucky, or is it a case of we're not quite there yet?
Fine margins, Joe. I mean, it's not a winning six, is it? I mean, we've got cup matching, so we've not won. I mean, in 5 league games, we've took 2 points out of 15, which that's not good. Good if you look at it. But when you look at the fine margins, Birmingham City headed offline, and that at a crucial time at game. We've had others where goalkeepers saved it, and we've hit upright. So it's just that clinical finishing. It's put it balling back at net. We're not too far off, but goals win games. And if we're not scoring goals, then it's proving a point that, we're still in 8th, but it's not good when you've only got 2 from 15. As I put on social media somewhere, are we on free fall, or can we get out of this mess and climb back up into top 6, starting hopefully Saturday, but with a depleted team, I believe.
Yeah, obviously we know that Mike Roberts came off in the last game. As Andy said, Watters has had a setback, so we are missing a couple of players there. John, what's your assessment been so far this season? I know obviously me and you are not on the show as regularly, so it's good to get sort of fresh eyes on it, but what's your thoughts based on, I think it's 18, 19 games we played now around the first sort of half of the season?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe a 7 out of 10. It reminds me a bit of last year, but a bit more positive, where I think some fans expect us to be closer to the top 2 because we got to the playoff final and then got to the playoffs again last year. So maybe the expectations don't match the reality of a new manager coming in, a different formation, a different style of play, and obviously several new players. So for me, I'm not disheartened. I don't want the manager's head or anything like that. I think you have to be glass half full and recognise that we're building towards something. It's frustrating when you're in this division for too long, because we feel like we should be in the championship, if not a big championship side, then at least holding our own, mid-table, maybe in the championship. But the reality is, it's a difficult division to get out of, and I think now we're seeing the value of a Devante Cole. So Devante Cole was kind of that player where he'd frustrate away from the penalty area, but then he'd stick the ball in the back of the net. Whereas now we seem to have a lot of strikers who kind of contribute to the game away from the penalty area, if you like, and score the odd goal, but effectively we're relying a bit more on Adam Phillips to score the goals. And Humphries obviously from time to time as well. So yeah, now it feels a bit premature to say, Devante, let's move him on and get someone else in, because those we could do with those goals now. Just someone in the box who maybe doesn't kind of contribute to all the kind of link up play, but he's just there for the rebound, there to go on the end of a cross, there to just sort of shin it in at the far post.
Yeah, we'll talk a bit more about the Swiss transfer stuff soon, but I just want to touch on the fact that we are still in the race, guys. We're 8th in the league. I know a lot of the teams above us have got a game in hand. A couple haven't, but most have. But Andy, we're still there. We're still in the fight. There's still plenty of games to play. And I look at it myself, and I've been really frustrated this last few weeks at the results, particularly like, the home form has just infuriated me this season because I know how important it is for us to win at home because that's where the majority of fans are going to see the team, and fans who don't come every week are going to see the team because they might be coming as a one-off, and we want them fans to return to Oakwell to try and get the atmosphere better. So it infuriates me when his home form is that bad, and I know the lads are trying the best, but it just sort of hurt me. But for you, Andy, when you look at it, you're still quite optimistic. We've got a good shout at playoffs at this point. I know it's a little bit down in the dumps at this moment, but still
Well,
got
when you lose
optimism.
2 goals against teams that are above you, it knocks you a bit, doesn't it? Because it puts an extra 3 points between you and them. And as you say, other teams have got games in hand. It all depends how you want to look at it. If you're a glass half empty sort of person, you're going to look behind you and see that there's clubs that can catch us. They've got games in hand or wherever, or a few points behind us. If you're a glass half full, then you look above, don't you, and see what you need to do. And I try wherever, except for referees, I try wherever possible to be positive, because I tell you what, if you're always negative and half full about everything, you're leading a miserable life, a really miserable life. And for me, if you're feeling like that, gear send a shake. So I like to be. John will disagree. I like. I like to be put apart from every time Barnsley score at home or away. I'll just say it'll only make them mad. They'll equalise soon. It'll only get the gander up and what have you, and it'll never last. But that's traditional from our family. That our family always did that when I were younger. So I like to be positive, and I like to look up and think if we can win this next couple of games, and let's be fair, they're winnable. Then we could dispel all of it, but it all depends who's going to be available. Humphreys went off injured with a knock, and there's all that. Phillips ain't going to be there, although some people are thinking, well, that's not the worst thing, game of rest, but he can also do something different. So I'm not in the Adam Phillips downer group or anything like that. So yeah, I think you got to be positive. Otherwise, why bother? Why bother? So yeah, I'm positive, and I think we can. We can do it and get us sent back into a decent position in the next 2 games, hopefully, before we face Bolton and Wrexham again. Let's go for it.
I feel like you just convinced yourself over there over the
I
course of
have.
that answer. I quite liked
Oh,
it. But Al, you're always positive, mate. So I'm sure you're still expecting, win the league, maybe second if we have a few more off days.
I don't know about saying I'd just be happy at this moment in time to get into the top 6. But we've got to win matches. We've got to win games. We've got to make Oakwell a fortress. The curse of Oakwell is to be put behind us into the new year. It's not been good, has it? And as I say, when you look at the cup match, 30 shots, 9 on target, and teams aren't having many shots on target, but they're going away with victories. And it does seem cruel, but we've got to make our own luck. We've got to be better in the final third. And that's something we've got to look at in January window. How do we make it better turning into New Year?
The Curse of Oakwell. Al, is that what you've titled it now? Sounds like they're about to make an Indiana Jones film about it.
It does feel like that, though, doesn't it? Last year and this year, it seems that we have to work really, really hard to see a win out at home. So we might do all right in the first half, but we kind of tail off in the second half. And I'm not as down on the substitutions as some people have been, because I think I know Jallo couldn't play, but Jallo's come on and looked sort of lively. We've had players come on and sort of change the game, from time to time, but we just don't seem to convert those points. Whether it's
What do you think it
away
is, John? What do you think it is?
I don't know. I think it's just like a fear, maybe like a we've been here before, like a learned response where away from home they just play more freely. And even though some people were negative about the Wrexham game, I thought we played all right. We didn't have loads of chances, but we're playing against a very good side away from cold. Other end of not other end of the country in an entirely different country, and yet I wasn't watching that thinking we're not in this game. Jallo had that one that was it just tipped over, and I'm thinking we've got a good chance here, and then Sod's Law to go and score. But yeah, I don't feel like Yeah, I just feel like I kind of go into that final half an hour of a game thinking, yeah, we're in this game, or we can see this out, and then especially at home, we just don't seem to do it. It's a shame, but
Do you agree, Andy? Is that it? Is it just some mental, I don't know, thing that's just piling up on us now in terms of that mentality at home, that even when we're ahead and we're playing well, you think back to Reading when we've basically dominated for the first 45 minutes. The game should be out of sight if we'd, took us chances, and then they come back into it and manage to get a draw.
Yeah, I think it can be a bit of a mindset, can't it? They're not scoring goals, like I said earlier. There are a number of players that are, against Bristol and what have you, scuffing shots, and it's not just one. It were 4 or 5 or 6 of them scuffing shots, and I think if we get near, I think it becomes a bit symptomatic that I don't think if we throw on goal, I don't think we're going to score. I don't think I have that thing that he'll save it, or it'll hit post, or just go wide, or be tipped onto a bar, that sort of thing. So I think that must get to the players that that they get panicky. We must score, and get uptight about it instead of being relaxed and smacking it and just putting it in. We get a bit nervous. And maybe similar at the back. I mean, we made having gone 1-0 up against Birmingham last weekend, straight from the kickoff, we made an almighty mess up, tickling about in the centre of midfield, and you think immediately after scoring, just put your boot through it. Let them have a goal kick. Just smack it somewhere. Stop, and then we can regroup again. Don't all tickle and try to be clever and what have you, because it results, as it did, in an equaliser, and then it all went pear-shaped. Don't do that. The one good thing I think about this season is that last season, if we went 1-up, we kept defending. We're going back and back and back and back and back. It were almost like we got 11 goalkeepers at one stage. But at least this season, we're having a go at it.
Right, to be fair.
We're still getting goals. We're still giving late goals. Or we have been. We cleared that up, and then we started doing it again, giving late goals away. But at least we're not defending and just going mad. That think, for goodness sake, attack for a second. I don't know if we attack for a second and we mess it up, then we mess it up. I don't think it's helped that we had a goalkeeper. I've got a goalkeeper on loan that I think responsible for about half a dozen points that is now no longer playing. I don't know what's going to happen to him in January, but hopefully he's not going to be at first team as far as I'm concerned. But we've just got to cut out the divilling about at towards the end of matches and just smack it down the field. But do a rugby union thing. Hit the corner flag with it, not get goalies so we can launch it. Hit it down thing and then push them up. And they can't score if they're in there. If they're in there, they're half at pitch. So I think get it down there. Stop trying to be clever all the time. And just in that circumstance, and we did. We threw it away against Birmingham. A great goal by Stansfield. But God dear me,
Still second, Andy. I've seen a photo going on social media that Bo were not anywhere near.
I know, I've seen
it.
We've still got to defend it, Al. We've still got to defend it.
You're looking at fine margins again. Illegal goal. If you want to go at it, it was illegal.
I'm with you, well. Referees are disgrace, Al. What's wrong with them? Why can't they? If they can't see that, they can't see out. I mean, Luca Connell puts it down. Guys looking at it, we have fine tooth comb. He's getting his divider out to make sure. I know, Al. I know, but
Birmingham fans, if you're watching, I'm just going to pop to the fridge to get me sour grapes out.
We still defended it rubbishly. We can't blame that.
Fully, but there are margins, as I say. What's going wrong? Things happen for a reason, don't they?
That's going. People get lazy. Look at I've talked about the goal against Birmingham. Look at the goal against Wrexham. Where were when he got the ball and just in our half and started going forward, the nearest player to him or the nearest person to him who could get a tackle in, what referee? Nobody were anywhere near him. It just bumbled forward. It's not like he went forward like Hamill would. It bumbled forward and nobody come anywhere near him till Donovan Pine started to step out a bit and smacked it in. That's inexcusable, Al. We have a defensive midfield player. Inexcusable.
If we were playing musical statues.
Yeah, we just
silly.
backed off way
It's
too
just
much, didn't we?
silly.
And it's one of them. Like you say, out fine margins. It's difficult. I think Andy's point around the football and the style of football this season. I'm the same. I enjoy the style of football a lot more than I did last year. If I'm totally honest, I know we're maybe not winning as many games at this stage, but I just think the style. At least we are having a go, and at least it's entertaining most of the time. I'll still full faith in Daryl Clark and what he's trying to do. He's very honest in terms of his opinions and assessments of things, and I know Barnsley fans tend to connect with that and like it. Are you still fully behind him?
I've no problems with Daryl. I think he's doing a good job. He just needs supporting it in January window. In my eyes, the board have got to, and is it Mladen? They've got to support him and get right players in and give him the tools so he can kick on, and we can keep up there, push him for that top 6 spot.
You've just given me a lovely segue there, Al, into our transfer talk. Now, my hat's going back out. Because bar humbug, we need them to spend some money so we can get some good players. So will it be bar humbug or will it be Merry Christmas? Let's see.
I'm listening.
So if you're watching, I want to take this hat off. I want to take this hat off. So make sure we're spending plenty on some good players. Get in the comments, gang. Let us know what is your number one priority for Barnsley. I nearly said present then. You can let us know what you gave for Christmas as well if you like, what Santa's bringing you. But for January, what's your number one priority for Barnsley? If you could sign one player, who does it need to be in terms of like position or an actual player that you think would really help strengthen Barnsley's team? Let's try to be realistic. So, as much as we'd love Mo Salah or Cole Palmer or Haaland, it's probably not going to happen. So let's try to be realistic with the suggestions, but let us know what you think. John, for you, obviously, Andy's already said striker is the main priority for him. Are you feeling the same, or what do you reckon? What's the priority for January?
Yeah, I know Sam Cosgrove has had injuries. I feel like maybe the manager doesn't trust him to lead the line and be that goal getter. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sam was thinking of moving away maybe at the end of the season or January, I'm not sure. But I think the manager will probably want someone to put the ball in the back of the net. Now, again, like my dad said, is that Max Waters? He's done it in the past, not prolifically. So I kind of look at Humphreys and I think I kind of like Humphreys coming in from out wide, but he's also sometimes he gets in positions and he's prolific. Not prolific, sorry, he's he just sticks at the back of the net, and you think that's what we need. But then you don't see it again for a little while. Do you know what I mean? And like there was one where I don't know if it was a penalty or not. I've not seen it back, but I felt like against Birmingham, like it goes to the ground in the box, and I'm thinking this is a chance. Spin and have a shot or lay it off or something like that, and he goes to the ground, don't get a penalty. I'm told potentially it was a penalty. From where I was sat, it didn't look like it. It looked like he went down a bit.
It was.
He had his arms round. The thing is, from my point of view, and I like to say that I'm not biased. I try my best. I know I'm wearing a Barnsley shirt, so Birmingham fans are going to disagree. Yeah. The defender had his arms full round him like this. Oh, they might have watched last show. They were loading him, talking to me on Twitter. So he had his arms around him like this, right in front of the referee. So anywhere else on the pitch, it's soft, so it should be. But it's probably a foul. Humps probably goes down a little bit easy feeling the contact, if I'm honest, in my opinion. I think if he might have been able to stay on his feet, but I understand why he has, because the guy's like ragged him a bit. So
yeah, I just thinking, spin and have a shot, put it in the back of the net. He feels like the player that could do that for us, but it's not. It's what, 5 goals is it this season? Was it 6 now with the weekend goal? So yeah, maybe a striker. Again, we've got several good midfielders, a couple of excellent midfielders, but several good midfielders, some good strikers. But I don't feel like there's anyone in that final third who's really kind of like stand out. Do you know what I mean? So I think maybe if, like Jay Stansfield was maybe coming on loan at the start of the season, that kind of player that you just will score 2 goals.
It's just a shame we were short 15 million quid, mate.
It's a shame.
We were close, but
maybe in the summer.
What about Cole? I mean, is he playing for West Brom at the minute? I ain't seen much of him. And he's don't know.
Get Daryl DK back so we can sit on our injury table.
Yeah, let's get Cole back for second half of season, just like how brilliant he was last second half of season last year. Let's have him back for to do the same. All right.
Yeah, I don't know specifically who you would bring in. but I think Jallo, is going to be out for a while. He's not the finished article, is he? He's not an out and out striker either. So I think just that extra player, if we can't, you know, if Sam's not going to be the one, and if Max is going to be on the treatment table, then I think we just could do with that extra play to stick it in the back of the net. So I think we've got options in midfield, we've got options in defence, and I'm happy with the keeper. He asked me this question, sort of 2.5, 3 months ago. I'd said we probably need to get a keeper in because I didn't have the confidence in the guy from Chelsea, but I think Killip's come in and really, really applied himself. Obviously, he's brilliant against Wrexham. He's been excellent in several other games. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with the keeper.
I agree. I think Killip's been very solid, and it's good to see as well because I was a bit nervous like you, John. I wasn't totally convinced whether we had the strength in that area, but he's come in, been very assured, and I thought he performed man at match for me against Wrexham.
Yeah.
Al, is there anywhere else that we need to strengthen, or any other suggestions on who we might sign?
I've seen Yorkshire Post. Leon Wopsall put something on social media today. Victor Edvarson, we tried to get him. I think that's what Darrell Clark wanted him, and it fell through. He wasn't. He was a bit upset that it won't come. Could we get the Swede? Is it Swede? 28-year-old. Could he be somebody up front to go for it in January window? I've heard definitely that it looks like Jallo might be out for the rest of the season due to his shoulder, which that's not good because we needed that liveliness up front. So definitely a striker. It could be him. Who else could I'm thinking about? It's put Leon Benjamin Kalman, a forward at Finnish international. That we could go for. So I don't know. Also, Kima Roof out of contract, ex-Leeds. Could we go for a non-contracted player?
He's a good player.
Roof can put ball in back of net.
Yeah,
Andy, would you be against having more of a sort of older head, experienced striker who's been there and done it?
Or not really, no, because that's what we want. We need experience. We need somebody who can put ball in back of net from about 2-3 yards, innit?
Like a Chris Martin or someone like that. Someone who's just going
to bring Chris Martin up.
I know you hate Chris Martin, don't you?
No, it's young Cloward. Cloward that hates him.
Do we need a central defender? Does Mads Anderson come into thinking to come back? He's not played much this season.
Been injured, I know he's back. It's not going to happen now.
It's a striker or a couple of strikers we need. That's imperative. It goes what wins games.
Just need goals, Red. It's that simple. Need goals.
It is, and it says it all, doesn't it? So I mentioned lead striker who's not getting games. I mentioned him in one.
Patrick Bamford.
Bamford could get something like that alone. Yeah. Who knows? I don't think he'd come down to League One. That's the thing.
Yeah, wages could be an issue.
Yeah, I think his profile's a bit too high, isn't it? I think there'll be takers in the Championship for him.
They've got to look at our recruitment team. They've got to look and be dedicated to get a striker in as soon as that window opens, as soon as possible. We need we ain't got to wait while usual last day at window. That's my belief. We always wait while last minute. We want to be kicking on as soon as windows open.
It'd be too late. I think it'd be too late, to be honest. I think obviously we have to see how we get on at Christmas, but if we wait till the end of January on current form and with the current amount of goals, I think and injuries, we're going to be leaving ourselves with a bit of a mountain to climb, I think, unless we have a better than expected Christmas in terms of results. Right, gang.
I think we also need to clear some players out. I know a lot of people on Twitter and elsewhere talk about Deadwood, which I think's really insulting because they're human beings. And the footballers have got professional contracts and what have you. But for me, we have got some players on our books, a number of players on our books that aren't going to get anywhere near the first team or the first team squad, and it's not fair both for us who then are limited with what money we've got available, or for them if they're not going to get anywhere near a game, that either go out on loan or leave. And there's a number of players, there's a number of players like that. I can't understand. I mean, I don't understand why Jack Shepherd's gone out on loan, but I don't know where we're at with with Mark Roberts. Don't know where we're at with Josh Hill. There might be very minor injuries. Don't know. There might not be. If they aren't, then we need him back, in my personal view, because I think he's a decent player and getting rave reviews at his club at Bradford, and I think he should come back personally. But we'll see. But there's others that aren't getting anywhere close to the first team, or spasmodically get in the squad and then disappear again. And I don't think it's fair on them. We need to create some financial space and to give those players a chance to actually play football that they're employed to do.
Yeah.
What do you think
Absolutely.
to what do you think to Kieran Lofthouse? Because I've liked his, but he doesn't seem to get a lot of opportunity to really impact a game. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when I've seen him and he's had more minutes, I mean, part of this was like in pre-season, for example. He seemed to really have something about him in terms of like cutting in from the flank. You know, he'd have that final ball, he'd get on the end of a cross and stick it in. But is he someone you send out on loan, Dad, or
No, he ain't, because I think he's regularly in the squad and he's getting on the pitch. I think he needs to get a bit, have a bit more confidence. When he started, he's not looked anywhere near as good as when he's come on. But he's good cover both for left wing back, which is where he tends to come on. But he's essentially a right wing back. Though one game he played up front, looked $1 million playing up front with Jurgen Nathan. Though, between them, they were excellent. I thought he looked really good, as a striker. But for me, he's not one that should that should go. I mean, for me on loan, unless Aiden's going to get a game, Aiden should go out on loan because it's not fair. He's a lad that needs to learn his trade, but he's the sort of player that can score from 3 yards. So, for me, he'd be one that'd be in the squad that short amount of time left if we need to get a goal. He's going to get it from close in. But if Aidan Marsh ain't going to be in the squad, then Aidan needs to go out on loan or wherever for his benefit. If he's not going to be used for our benefit, he needs to go for his benefit. And there's a number of them that it's just not fair. They're not going to get a game, and they've just put their career on hold, if you like, and we're not being able to.
Football's a toughie, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, of course it is. We've
Yeah.
got a lot of players that aren't getting near.
Well, someone said to me this week, stick Pines up front because he scored some
I've
decent
said
goals.
that.
Stick him up front now until January.
It's the old Eric Winstanley. Me and Al were there. If we're behind, stick a centre half up front. We got 3 of the sods up pitch.
We were all right.
Get Big Donny up there. Push his centre back. Put him about.
If you're listening, Darryl Clark, that's what we want. We want to see Pines up top. Get him up top for the game. He scored. When did he score that goal? He smashed his tin. That was a great goal. That
Bolton finished 2-2, didn't it? I think that was the second goal.
Oh yeah, Bolton. Yeah, lovely goal that. So yeah.
Really
he does that with Mark Roberts sometimes, doesn't he? Mark Roberts, when we need a goal in the last minute, Mark Roberts gets left up, which is actually not a bad shout because he's pretty good on the floor as well. You've seen him when he's got the ball out wide from a corner or something like that, and he finds a yard of space and gets the ball into the box. So yeah, put Mark Roberts up. Why not?
There we go. Old school football, eh? Right, moving on. We're going to finish off the show by previewing Exeter away. Long trip for Barnsley. So let's talk about that then. So both sides, similar form going into this one. As we've said earlier in the show, Barnsley not won in the league in 5, not won overall in 6, if you count that cup game against Bristol Rovers. Exeter quite similar, but conceded more goals. So like us, they've not won in 5. Had defeats against Stockport, Birmingham, and Wrexham. Some might say, well, that's kind of expected. Obviously we've lost as well to 2 of those teams in recent weeks too. A good draw against Wickham though, so that's a decent result for him. Andy, I was looking at the stats of this, and in my head I was thinking, before I looked at the stats, head-to-head stats, I was thinking, we don't tend to do very well against Exeter, or at least I feel like we don't do very well. But actually looking at it, I think we've only played them 4 times in the last few years, and before that we haven't played them since the 80s. And yeah, okay, we've lost 3 out of the 4, which is not great, but not quite ready to say they're a bogey side at this point, but not a side we do well against.
You have to bring it up, didn't you? Picture the scene, Joe. Picture the scene. It's the 3rd of May, 1977. I know it's hard for you
I can't
to
picture that scene, mate.
Me and Al can. A brilliant Barnsley performance. 3-0 up. 3-0 up at home to Exeter. Aye. Then they pulled a goal back in 62 minutes. I think that's 3-1. We'll get another one through. then 75 minutes. You're thinking, hold on a minute, there's 15 minutes, and then 77 minutes, and then with 6 minutes to go, we're lost 4-3 at home to Exeter. That as a bogey team from 3-0 up and coasting all the way to over an hour to then throw it away. We went from heroes to zeros. We were brilliant, looking for promotion, weren't we, Al?
Is that the Eiley out era?
That's the one.
Eiley out.
Dash.
So what you're telling
Like
me is Al's deemed us home form the curse of Oakwell, and now we've also got the curse of going to Exeter, apparently, because we're not good at that either.
I'm half full.
So it does go back. So the Aaron Bogey team, I stand corrected. I'm sorry, my I won't say youth because I'm 32 now. I'm getting a bit wrinkly, but
no idea.
But I don't remember that one. So
it's a funny old game, isn't it? They've played 18 games and in league, and they've conceded 19 goals in it. So we're going to score, aren't we? It's going to be a goal for us. They've also only scored 16 in their 18 matches. So and they went in the league. Apart from the 2-2 draw with Wickham, the other 4 games that you're talking about, they didn't score.
And conceded 9, I think, in those games.
So they're not
quite a lot.
Hold on, I'll tell you. Hold on.
9 if you include the Wickham game, sorry.
Yeah, 7 were at that, but yeah, so
look at me.
They ain't doing great. And, on a positive note, 'cause you've got to be half full, haven't you? They ain't got Chase Stansfield playing for them. So that's also because he absolutely panders when he played for them. And they've done us. Last year, we won down there. They beat us at Oakwell last season, but we did them down there, didn't we?
Yeah, McAtee, 89th minute, I think it was. Yeah. 1-0.
Can't remember what I had.
So you can remember when we lost 4-3 to Exeter in like the 80s, but you can't remember last year.
77, 3rd of May, 1977.
Wow.
Not 80.
Do you think that's a bit? It's crazy how you can remember that one.
It was a Tuesday night as well, Andy. It was a Tuesday night.
It was, Al. It was.
We remember all days.
We do well. It was. Oh, Al. Oh, dear me, dear.
Come on then, Al. Tell us what you think to this one.
Andy, I'm not saying what my dad said. Not saying what my dad said.
No, don't. No, don't.
Yeah,
no,
family
don't.
show, Al. I'm sure. Family show. Come on then, Al. What do you reckon to this one?
It's a tough trip, isn't it? We're going to be depleted. We know that. Yeah. Don't know if Earl's going to be fit. Don't know if Robbo's going to be fit. We're going to be without Phillips, and we don't know if Humphries has got a knock either, because he didn't train all the week, did he? So it's a big ask. It's a big ask to go down there and to put. We've got to put it to bed, the fact that we haven't won in all these games. And credit to all the fans who are going down to Exeter. It's a big, long trek. I think East Dean are setting off at 6 o'clock in the morning. So good luck to everybody. Unfortunately, due to me not being well, I'm not going. So, it's going to be interesting what team he selects. That's the thing. And they'll be working this week on training ground now with the setup that is actually going to start with. I think they play a 3-4-2-1, and they've got Jack Aitchison.
Jack Aitchison, good player.
He went back to Scotland, didn't he? This was the thing, he didn't like it with us, so he went back up Scotland and he goes further down country, down to Exeter. Work that one out. How's that work?
There are issues for him in Scotland.
Yeah.
Don't be hard on him. Don't be hard on him. He went for good.
It's a shame. It's a shame because I think his Barnsley career was just starting to get. I think it could have been something special. But
when we were at Hillsborough, Joe, he played in that game. We met his mum, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I do vaguely remember that. Yeah, outside when we were doing fan cams, I think afterwards, weren't it?
He didn't go to Scotland on loan and come back to us because we missed him when he went. He's a clever player. He can pass ball into space and all that.
Winded, didn't he? When it a January wind, he went late on, didn't he?
Such a shame.
I think so. Yeah, a bit of a surprise for us. I think we were hoping to keep him. John, looking at Exeter, I know I've mentioned their form being very similar to ours at the minute, but also very similar in terms of league position. They're only a couple of places behind us. only a couple of points behind us with a game in hand. So just like us, even though the recent form's not been great, they're still very much in the race for playoffs.
Yeah, I think they. Oh, hang on, John. I need to just plug my laptop in.
Can't get stuck, can you? So, all right, at least we get to see your Barnsley FC bed sheets and your nice starry curtains. There you go. enjoy.
Oh, my
I didn't know
lads and
Jonathan had got a gaming. I didn't know Jonathan had got a gaming chair.
Oh, you're joking. It's Jack's. My grandson Jack's.
I was just going to say, I'm assuming this is not Jonathan's bedroom, Andy.
No.
But I'll ask you the same question. What do you think to Exeter's chances of the playoffs? Is what I was going to say.
I've done shows from that bedroom and all.
Oh,
We turf poor Jack out and get set up on his desk. But I tell you what, it's a cluttered. Only a little desk. It's cluttered. You've got to shift all this clutter out first.
Come on then, Andy. What are Exeter's chances of playoffs? Are they in the race with us, do you think?
Well, they're 3 points behind us, like you said, we're a game in hand, but they're not scoring much, are they? I mean, they've got. I mean, you think how many they've got? They haven't got many goal scorers, really, have they? That Josh McGuinness has scored 5 in the league, and they've got Ali and is it Doyle? Doyle have got 4, but like us, after that it's 1 here and 1 there. So, if we can keep. I think if we can keep McGuinness quiet, then we'll do all right because he's going to be their biggest threat, and of course Aitchison is going to be good at setting him up because if he plays, because he's a smart player. He's got it as well as having a good engine. He's got it upstairs. He's in his own way. He's a bit like Adam Phillips. He sees passes that sometimes don't come off because the people he's playing with haven't got the same level of quality, if you like. So hopefully that'll continue on Saturday. I think we don't know what team we're going to have on, but I think we've got whatever team we put out. I think we're going to have a good shout at winning this one. If we can't win this one, then I'm afraid it's going to put us in a difficult position. Even if we draw, it's going to put us in a difficult position. So we've got some tough games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't totally agree with that because I think that Christmas period can be such a weird time with results that, with the games being so back to back, even if we get a draw at the weekend, I think if we then go on and, manage to win 2 or 3, it might. I know what you're saying in terms of fixtures. It's not easy having Wrexham and Bolton, and we've got Peterborough as well, but I still think we've got a good chance over Christmas to maybe pick up some points. So we'll see what happens with that. But
yeah, we're only playing Bolton and Wrexham, aren't we, over holiday periods? So.
Yeah, well, we love it. We love a game against Bolton. Bolton. Well, we'll see you at Wembley again, Bolton. Don't worry. We'll see you at Wembley, or we'll see you at playoffs.
Don't talk to Jonathan about Bolton. Remember that instant reaction show the 3 of us, me, you, and John did outside Bolton. He only said, it were 2 poor sides. I started to take it Mickey right, left, and centre. They thought I was sound, and they had a right go at him.
They're a passionate bunch, like we are.
It's not let it go yet, Joe. Can't let it go.
It's all right. Well, like I said, I said Wembley. I meant to say playoffs. So we'll see him at playoffs, John. So I'm sure you'll be able to be reunited with your friends, the Bolton fans.
No more Bolton podcast for me. I'm done with Bolton.
You've done your time on the Bolton podcast. Al, what do you reckon then? Come on, give us your prediction to finish off the show. Let's have a look.
Good question. Depends what team he picks.
I mean, it's not a great question. We ask it every week, but I'll take the credit.
Does Craig come in? With Carly? We've got to get a midfielder in. Definitely Phillips, haven't we? And do we drop Russell and play Craig? It's an interesting one. So I'm hoping we can put this run behind us and come away with Andy Special, a 2-1 victory.
Oh, lovely Andy Special. Makes me want fish and chips, that, to be fair.
Don't like it.
Go on then, Andy. Has Al stolen your thunder by taking your special, or are you going for something a bit different?
No, I think Kelechi should come in. I think it'd be silly not to. Whether or not, I mean, it all depends on where we're at with Stephen Humphries. But Cosgrove could come in and play up front and put DKD in midfield. I think his preferred position because he's not a striker. He's that thing between, that player between strikers. We stick him out. We're doing a bit. We're doing them neither of them any favours. Sticking Adam Hart on right, and him Hart on left, and they need to be more involved in the game. The pair of them. So Who knows? Who knows? Maybe him in midfield, but maybe not. I don't know. It all depends on it. For me, they've conceded 19 goals, and this will be 20th game, so we're going to score. We're going to get a goal. Whoever plays, it'll go. Even if it goes off Big Donny's backside, we're going to score. And they're not scoring, so it's going to be 1-0 to us, isn't it? Because they ain't going to score either. They don't know where net is. 1-0.
1-0.
It'll go in off somebody's backside, though.
Anyone's bum in particular that you're expecting for got first goal score? Very specific.
Big Donny.
You heard it here first, guys. So it's big.
It'll not be a penalty, I'll tell you that much.
1-0. John, you don't have to be as specific to say that it's going to go off someone's bum and who it's going to go off, but you can just talk about who's going to win.
We're going to go 2-1. Then I went for that. Then I was going to go 1-0, and he's gone for that. So
you can go the same, it's okay.
2-0. No, 1-0. I think 1-0 to us. I think it's that kind of game where we're kind of getting a bit negative now. We'll just win it, and we'll go, oh yeah, everything's not so bad after all. Trying to sneak back in the playoffs. But I think we do need to rely on that away form a bit at the minute, which is a bit of a worry. So we need to get back to winning ways. But we seem to do well when we go to teams around us or below us away from home. We kind of take the game to them. We create chances. I've seen Sam Cosgrove have some decent games away from home as well, where he's got on the end of things. So, but I think if he plays or whoever plays in that leading role, we need to get more support. More people close to them. So when they're holding the ball up and flicking it on, so maybe get Keeler done a bit closer to the main striker. But yeah, I'll go 1-0.
And obviously, I've not done a prediction for a little while, so especially not
predict every flipping game. What you
I mean,
about?
Actually being on the show. I just mean, not had this spotlight to be able to give a prediction. I just sneak one in the comments because Big Kev makes sure that I don't forget.
We've about a minute to kick off.
Yeah, because he usually texts me a minute before kickoff and goes 2-1 Barnsley. Put it in, and then I have to rush the comments when he gets it.
Can I keep the suspense going? What's that puppet there, Al? Is it working, your Al?
You made a friend, Al?
He just dropped down. I don't know.
Just dropped down? Off from your roof?
What's the name of ventriloquist dummy, Al?
I don't know. It's Toby Tyke's friend.
Now we're talking to Toby Tyke's friend, not you, Al.
Anyway, if I can, I'll do a prediction now so we can get this wrapped up and we can all go have a cup of tea. I'm going to go, just considering how many goals Exeter have conceded. My head says 1-1, but I'm going to be positive because I've got to keep my happy clapper reputation that you all know me for. I'm going to say no one love, but that might be a stretch. 2-0 to Barnsley. I think we'll get 3 points, like John says, and everything will be rosy in the world for a couple of weeks, and then we'll go back around the spiral again of losing a few and feeling like this again, as we always do.
Can I also point out to you, Joe, all through this show, you've been Josh Atherton.
Have I? What?
You've not changed name. You've been Josh Atherton. I know you wanted to
be really critical. I was like, "Whoa, that's all right."
I know you wanted to be him, Joe. I know you wanted to be him.
He's got a sword in him.
I've already at. Josh, if you're watching, I'll send it to post back to Manchester for you, pal. Don't worry, it's coming your way. You'll get it back. Only kidding. Right, thanks a lot for watching. Get your comments in as always. We want to get your prediction for our prediction competition. Try to put it in a minute before kickoff because Andy apparently don't like that, and it's not good practice, is it, Andy? So
I'm talking about you and all, Nick Nut.
So get your prediction
and Tim
early.
Durkin. Let me get my list out. And Tim Durkin. I'll get a few out.
Anybody else?
Oh, goodness sake.
List?
Anyway, Joe's come on to wish you all a Merry Christmas. I know that, what he wanted to do.
I am bar humbug. I'm only kidding, of course. Merry Christmas, guys, if I don't see you before, but hopefully I will. And yes, come on, you Reds.
Take care, Josh.
Take care, Josh.